Hey coin collectors, history lovers, and treasure hunters, welcome back, the ultimate destination for numismatic knowledge, rare coin stories, and hidden gems you might be carrying in your pocket right now. Today, we're uncovering the mystery behind a coin that almost every American has touched at some point, yet very few truly understand. I'm talking about the 2000 Liberty 1-cent coin, also known as the Lincoln penny. This coin might look like any other, but what if I told you that this humble copper-colored cent has a backstory that stretches over a century, and that one special version of this 2000 penny could be worth $5.60 or more right now? Sit tight, grab your coin jar, and let's dig into everything you never knew about the Liberty 1-cent 2000 coin. To understand the 2000 penny, we need to go back to the year 1909. That's when the United States Mint introduced the Lincoln cent to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was a bold move at the time. Before this, U.S. coins traditionally showcased symbolic representations of liberty, not actual historical figures. The design was created by Lithuanian-American sculptor Victor David Brenner, and Lincoln's profile was placed on the obverse, or head side, of the coin. This marked the first time in American history that a real person, a president, no less, was honored on a circulating U.S. coin. On the original reverse, you'd find two wheat stalks flanking the words 1 cent and United States of America, hence the term wheat penny. This classic design was used from 1909 to 1958. Then, in 1959, to mark Lincoln's 150th birthday, the Mint updated the reverse to show the Lincoln Memorial, a structure that not only represents national unity but also contains a tiny image of Lincoln's seated statue at the center if you look closely. That same design, Lincoln's bust on the front and the memorial on the back, would carry on for decades, including the year 2000. The 2000 Lincoln cent falls within the second major design era, which ended in 2008. Let's look at the coin itself. The 2000 penny was struck at the Denver Mint, which is denoted by the small letter D below the date on the coin's obverse side. By the year 2000, the United States Mint had long since moved away from solid copper coins. Since 1982, pennies were minted with a core of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating. This switch happened due to rising copper costs, making it cheaper to mint coins with zinc interiors and copper coatings. The 2000 penny weighs 2.5 grams, has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and a plain edge. But while it may look simple, this coin is the product of advanced precision and high-speed minting processes. In total, the Denver Mint struck over 8.8 billion Lincoln cents in the year 2000. That's right, 8.8 billion! So, by the numbers, this coin is anything but rare. However, its value lies in condition, errors, and specific collector interest. Now, let's answer the question everyone wants to know: what's this coin worth in everyday use? In circulation, the 2000 Liberty 1-cent coin is still worth exactly 1 cent. It's among the most common coins in circulation. You can find them at cash registers, parking meters, bus station floors, you name it. Because of the high mintage, even a slightly used 2000 penny doesn't hold any premium over face value. It's common and plentiful. So unless yours is uncirculated or has a rare error, you're holding 1 cent of legal tender. It's also important to note that while the melt value, meaning the value of the metal inside, can fluctuate with market prices, it's generally under 1 cent for post-1982 pennies. And melting pennies for metal profit is against U.S. law. So if it's only worth a cent in circulation, where does the real value come from? 2 words, condition and errors. Uncirculated examples of the 2000 penny, coins that were never used and show no signs of wear, can be worth anywhere from 10 cents to $1. These are often pulled directly from mint rolls or coin bags. Now let's take it a step further. If your 2000 Lincoln cent is graded MS65 red or higher by a trusted grading company like PCGS or NGC, its market value can jump to $3 to $6 or more, and that's just for being in superb, flawless condition. But what really excites collectors are minting errors. And yes, the 2000 penny has had its share. Here are some known error types to look out for. Double die obverse. DDO, look for doubling in the lettering, especially in Liberty and In God We Trust. Off-center strikes. Coins that are visibly misaligned, with part of the design missing, can sell for $10 to $100 plus depending on how dramatic the strike is. Die cracks and cuds. Raised lines or blobs where the die has failed can add collector value. Clipped planchets. A portion of the coin appears bitten off. These can range in value from $5 to $50 depending on size and severity. If you come across a high-grade 2000 penny with one of these errors, you could be looking at a value far beyond face, and even beyond most modern coins. As of now, the market value for a 2000 Liberty 1 cent coin in top uncirculated condition, with no visible wear and strong red luster, hovers around $5.60. Yes, that's right. A penny that costs 1 cent to use could sell for $5.60 or more to a collector or investor who wants a well-preserved piece from the turn of the millennium. And keep in mind, error coins or particularly high-graded versions have sold for even higher amounts. Some MS67 red examples with perfect strike and zero flaws have fetched prices approaching $10 to $15 in auctions. The bottom line? Check your change. What of these pennies could be hiding in plain sight? So there you have it. The full story behind the 2000 Liberty 1 cent coin. A coin that carries more than just monetary value. It holds over 100 years of American legacy, design history, and hidden treasure potential. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of pennies, be sure to like this video, subscribe to your channel name, and tap that notification bell so you never miss a future episode. We cover rare coins, collector tips, and the untold stories behind the currency in your pocket. Have a 2000 penny at home? Found an error coin? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, happy hunting, and keep checking your change. Fellow treasure hunters, history buffs, and numismatic explorers, you're watching your go-to destination for uncovering the untold stories behind the coins in your pocket. Today, we dive into a copper-colored classic, the 2012 Liberty 1 cent coin from the United States. You may think it's just another penny, but behind that shiny red finish lies over a century of American pride, presidential legacy, and hidden value. Could that little Lincoln in your pocket be worth more than just 1 cent? Could it be hiding a value of $5.60 or more? Stay with us, because we're taking you on a deep journey through time, minting magic, and market worth. The story of the 2012 Liberty 1 cent coin begins far before 2012. It begins in 1909, the year the United States Mint introduced the Lincoln cent to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. For the first time in U.S. history, a real historical figure, not Lady Liberty, graced the face of an everyday coin. That decision marked a shift not only in coinage design, but also in cultural symbolism. Americans weren't just carrying money, they were carrying meaning. From 1909 to 1958, the coin's reverse side featured 2 wheat ears and was known as the wheat penny. In 1959, to honor Lincoln's 150th birthday, the design changed to the Lincoln Memorial, that familiar marble structure found in the heart of Washington, D.C. Then came 2009. The bicentennial of Lincoln's birth brought with it 4 unique reverse designs depicting his life in phases: his humble log cabin birth, his formative years, his professional life, and his presidency. But the biggest change came in 2010, when the U.S. Mint introduced the new Union Shield reverse, a symbol of national unity, strength, and Lincoln's legacy in holding the Union together during the Civil War. This was the first year we saw what we now call the Lincoln Shield penny, and that design continues today, which brings us to 2012, a year when the United States was still reeling from economic recovery, and yet billions of these small but significant coins were quietly making their way into circulation. Let's take a closer look at the 2012 Liberty 1 cent coin's design. Obverse, front as always. The obverse features the right-facing bust of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. His initials VDB can be found on Lincoln's shoulder. Surrounding the portrait, we see the words "In God We Trust" across the top, Liberty to the left, and the year 2012 to the right. Just below the date is a tiny letter, either a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or no mint mark at all, which indicates Philadelphia. Reverse, back now, flip the coin. There you'll see the stunning Union Shield, consisting of 13 vertical stripes representing the original colonies, joined by a single horizontal bar at the top, symbolizing unity under the federal government. The shield is flanked by the inscription United States of America on top, the motto E Pluribus Unum across the bar, and the coin's denomination, 1 cent, boldly at the bottom. Composition. By 2012, the Lincoln cent was no longer mostly copper. Instead, it was composed of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating, a cost-saving measure introduced in 1982. Each penny weighs 2.5 grams and measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter. Mintage numbers: Philadelphia Mint, over 4.9 billion coins. Denver Mint, around 4.3 billion coins. San Francisco Mint. Proof: only limited quantities, so the 2012 penny is not rare in terms of how many were made. But there's more than just quantity when it comes to value, in everyday use. The 2012 Liberty 1 cent coin, like most modern U.S. pennies, is still worth exactly 1 cent in circulation. Whether you find one at the bottom of your purse, in a tip jar, or stuck in your car seat, it functions just like any other penny. Why? Because over 9 billion of them were made, flooding the economy and making them incredibly common. So, in terms of face value, it hasn't appreciated yet. However, the metal value has sometimes come close to or slightly exceeded its face value, depending on the price of zinc and copper. Still, melting down coins is prohibited by U.S. law, so you can't cash in that way. But don't lose hope, because where things get exciting is in the world of collecting, let's talk value beyond the norm. A basic circulated 2012 penny is worth 1 cent. But pristine, uncirculated specimens, especially those with a bright red finish, are worth more to collectors. Coins graded MS65 or higher, mint state 65 plus, can sell for $1 to $5, depending on condition. And then come the stars of the show, era coins. Some 2012 pennies were misstruck or damaged during minting, creating unusual and rare varieties that collectors go crazy for. These errors include off-center strikes, die cracks, and die breaks, double dies, where text or images appear slightly duplicated, clipped planchets, where part of the coin is missing, struck through grease errors, where the design appears faint or missing in places depending on the severity and visibility. These errors can fetch anywhere from $20 to $100 or more. In one recent auction, a well-centered double-die 2012 penny sold for over $150. So don't underestimate what's in your spare change tray. Now to the part everyone's been waiting for. The current market value of the 2012 Liberty 1 cent coin. Here's what the market is telling us. Circulated 2012 penny, still worth $0.01. Uncirculated MS63 to MS65, typically worth 25 cents to $1.00. Certified MS67 red penny can fetch $5.60 or more depending on luster, eye appeal, and demand. Era coins range from $20 to over $100, with some premium examples going higher. 2012's proof coins often sell for $3 to $10 depending on grade and mirror finish. That's right. If you've got a near-perfect 2012 Lincoln Shield penny, its market value could be $5.60 or even higher on collector platforms. The 2012 Liberty 1 cent coin may look like a common penny, but it's a gateway to history, a work of art, and in the right condition, a small yet valuable collectible. Whether you're a seasoned collector, a curious beginner, or just someone who loves stories behind the small things, this coin is worth a second look. That 1 cent might just be worth $5.60, or even more. So next time you find a 2012 penny, don't toss it. Examine it. Appreciate it. You might just be holding more than change. You might be holding a piece of America's enduring legacy. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive, smash that like button, subscribe to your channel name, and tap the notification bell for more fascinating coin stories. And as always, keep searching, keep learning, and keep collecting. Welcome back. Go to destination for coin collecting, hidden treasures, and historical deep dives. Today, we'll explore a small but mighty piece of American coinage, the 1984 Liberty 1 cent coin. Stick around to find out why this penny is turning heads in the collecting world, how it came to be, what to look for, and how much yours might be worth. The Lincoln cent is one of the most iconic and longest-running coins in United States history. First introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it was the first regular-issue U.S. coin to feature a real person. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin's obverse features a right-facing bust of President Lincoln, a design so timeless, it's still used today. But let's fast forward to the year 1984, a time of new technology, shifting markets, and changes in the way coins were made. This was the era of the zinc penny. Prior to 1982, pennies were made primarily of copper. But due to rising metal costs, the U.S. Mint changed the composition to 97.5% zinc with just a thin outer coating of copper. The 1984 D penny is one of the early examples of this new composition. The D Mint mark stands for Denver, where this coin was struck. And believe it or not, over 5.5 billion of these pennies were minted in Denver that year alone. On the obverse, you'll find the profile of Abraham Lincoln, the words "In God We Trust" along the top, Liberty to Lincoln's left, the date 1984, and a small D Mint mark to the right. On the reverse, you'll see the Lincoln Memorial, introduced in 1959 and used until 2008. If you look closely, you'll even see a tiny representation of Lincoln's statue in the center of the building, a subtle but brilliant detail. To appreciate the 1984 D penny fully, you need to understand the world it was born into. The year 1984 was eventful. Ronald Reagan was re-elected as president, the Summer Olympics were held in Los Angeles, and compact discs were just becoming popular. Economically, the U.S. was in recovery from the early 1980s recession. Inflation was stabilizing, interest rates were high, and the dollar was strong. Yet despite this economic shift, the humble penny still played a vital role in everyday commerce. Because of metal costs, the penny's composition had recently changed from nearly pure copper to a copper-plated zinc core. This change made each coin cheaper to produce but introduced new vulnerabilities, like susceptibility to corrosion and dramatic effects when damaged or exposed to moisture. The Denver Mint in 1984 was operating at full steam. That year, it produced an incredible 5,569,238,906 pennies with the D Mint mark. While the majority were standard, uniform coins, some very special pieces slipped through, making them extremely valuable today. Collectors are always hunting for what are known as error coins, pennies that were struck with mistakes that make them unique. Here are some known errors for 1984 pennies that could dramatically increase their value. Double die obverse, DDO. While more famous on the Philadelphia minted 1984 penny, some Denver struck coins may show very subtle doubling on Lincoln's ear, eye, or on the words "In God We Trust." Off-center strikes. Coins that were not aligned properly during the strike can be worth anywhere from $10 to $100 depending on how far off-center the image is. Clipped planchets. These errors occur when the blank metal disc was clipped incorrectly before being struck. Such coins can be worth $20 to $50. BI errors. This refers to a die crack between the letters B and E in Liberty that makes it look like the coin spells BIE. It's not highly valuable, but some collectors will pay $5 to $15 just for fun. If you've got a 1984 D penny that looks odd, double letters, missing elements, or strange shapes, get it checked by a coin dealer or graded by professionals like PCGS or NGC. You might be holding a hidden gem. In everyday circulation, the 1984 D Liberty 1-cent coin is generally worth, well, 1 cent. That's right. Because of the massive quantity produced and the fact that they're still commonly found, their face value has remained unchanged for the average example. However, coins in higher grades, especially those that were never circulated and remain in mint condition, start to separate themselves in value. A crisp, untouched coin with full original luster might be worth 20 cents to $1 depending on the buyer. And remember, in the coin world, condition is king. Collectors pay premiums for coins that have not been scratched, worn, or damaged. So what's the real market value of the 1984 D penny today? Let's break it down. Circulated condition, still worth 1 cent. Uncirculated examples, MS60 to MS63 range from 10 cents to $1. Mint state 65 red condition, can fetch around $3 to $5. MS67 red, top grade rare but possible. These can sell for $10 to $25. Known error coins or unique variants can jump in value from $50 to $500 depending on the rarity and error type. Now here's where it gets interesting. A typical, clean, well-preserved 1984 D penny, especially in mint state 65 or better, has a market value of $5.60 today. That's more than 500 times its face value. Not bad for something you might find in a jar or under your couch cushions. So next time you see a 1984 D penny, don't toss it aside. Examine it closely. Coins are more than just currency. They're time machines, artifacts, and collectibles all in one. The 1984 D Liberty 1 cent coin may seem ordinary, but with the right eye and a little luck, it could be a valuable piece of history. Here's how to boost your chances of finding a valuable one. Always check for errors or doubling on Lincoln's profile. Look at the date and mint mark under a magnifying glass. Set aside any coins with full original red luster. Consider sending high-grade coins to be professionally graded. And finally, never underestimate the humble penny. Some of the greatest treasures come in the smallest forms. Thanks for watching today's deep dive into the 1984 D Liberty 1 cent coin. If you enjoyed the content, hit that like button, subscribe to your channel name, and ring the bell for more amazing coin stories and hidden treasures. Hey there, coin collectors, history hunters, and curious viewers! Welcome back to the home of rare finds, untold stories, and hidden treasures you may be carrying in your pocket right now. Today's spotlight falls on a humble yet fascinating piece of American numismatic history, the 2001 D Liberty 1 cent coin, also known as the Lincoln penny. This isn't just a coin, it's a time capsule, a copper-clad tribute to a former president, and yes, under the right conditions, it can be worth far more than its face value. So grab your magnifying glass, because we're digging deep into the story, the facts, the hidden value, and the collector's goldmine that is the 2001 D penny. Let's rewind time to understand where this coin truly comes from. The Lincoln cent first rolled out in 1909, marking the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by renowned sculptor Victor David Brenner, it made headlines as the first ever circulating U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. Before Lincoln, U.S. coinage featured idealized women representing liberty. Lincoln's image broke the mold and forever changed American coin design. The obverse, or front side, of the coin has featured Lincoln's bust ever since, with the motto "In God We Trust" arching above his head, the word liberty to his left, and the year of minting, 2001, to his right. Just beneath the date, if your coin was minted in Denver, you'll see a small D mint mark, which is what makes it the 2001 D variety. The reverse, or back side, features the iconic Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to celebrate Lincoln's 150th birthday. It replaced the classic wheat ears design that ran from 1909 to 1958. Look closely and you'll notice something amazing: a miniature engraving of Lincoln seated inside the memorial. That's right, it's Lincoln within Lincoln. Fast forward to 2001. The U.S. Mint struck billions of Lincoln cents, over 5.5 billion just at the Denver Mint, indicated by the D Mint mark. By this time, the composition of the penny had changed significantly. Since 1982, Lincoln cents were no longer made from 95% copper. Instead, they're made of 97.5% zinc with a thin 2.5% copper coating. Why the change? Simple. Rising copper prices made the original composition too expensive. So, your 2001 D penny weighs 2.5 grams, has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and features a plain edge. It's small, durable, and easy to overlook, but in the collector's world, even these modest specs can hide big surprises. The penny has always been a part of American daily life, from vending machines to grocery counters, from lunch change to savings jars. And the 2001 D Lincoln cent was no exception. It flowed into circulation as part of the everyday economy, quietly passing from hand to hand. But while billions were struck, not all pennies are created equal. Many have worn down over the years, but a select few have remained in pristine condition, sealed away by collectors or simply never touched. These are the pennies that have become sought-after gems today. So how much is your 2001 D Lincoln penny worth if it's been rattling around in your change? In regular circulated condition, the answer is simple. It's worth 1 cent. Despite inflation, despite age, its face value has remained unchanged. Because billions were made and many are still in use today, these pennies are still legal tender and accepted everywhere. But from a numismatic point of view, the real value starts to appear when you examine uncirculated, mint state, or error coins. The 2001 D penny may be common in circulation, but when you find one in mint state condition, the story changes entirely. Coins are graded on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70. A mint state, MS, coin graded MS 65 or higher means it has almost no visible flaws. These coins can command significant premiums over face value. A 2001 D penny in MS 66 red can be worth around $3 to $5. In MS 67 red, it may sell for $10 to $20. Some certified examples have sold for over $50 at auctions, especially if they are in impeccable condition. And let's not forget error coins, the wild cards of coin collecting. Examples include off-center strikes, double die obverse, where the date or letters appear doubled, die cracks or die clashes, clipped planchets. Some 2001 D era pennies have sold for $50, $100, and even more, depending on the rarity and visibility of the error. These are usually authenticated by PCGS or NGC and then sold on collector marketplaces or auctions. One particular 2001 D penny with a bold off-center strike and sharp details fetched $120 in a private sale. As of today, the current market value for a top-quality, collector-grade 2001 D Liberty 1 cent coin in MS 67 red or higher is about $5.60. That's a remarkable leap from its humble 1 cent origin. And if you're holding a verified error coin or an unusually high-graded specimen, you could be looking at a coin that fetches double or even 10 times that amount, depending on rarity and demand. So yes, it's entirely possible that a small coin from 2001, sitting unnoticed in a drawer or jar, could be worth $5.60 or more today. In the world of numismatics, every coin tells a story, and the 2001 D Lincoln cent is no different. It's a tribute to a president, a product of evolving minting technology, and a sleeper gem for those with a sharp eye and a love of history. So check your change, examine your penny jars, and look closely, because that 1-cent coin in your hand might just be a small piece of American legacy worth far more than you think. Welcome back to the ultimate destination for coin collectors, history lovers, and curious minds. Today, we're digging deep into a coin you've probably held in your hand but never stopped to admire, the 1989 Liberty 1-cent coin, also known as the 1989 Lincoln Penny. Is this just another old coin from your childhood change jar, or could it be a hidden treasure worth over $5 or more? Get ready, because we're about to reveal the rich history, hidden secrets, and market value behind one of the most iconic cents in American coinage. Our story begins in 1909, a pivotal year for U.S. currency. That year marked the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and for the first time ever, a real historical figure appeared on an American coin. The man chosen to break that tradition? None other than Honest Abe. Renowned sculptor Victor David Brenner designed the original Lincoln cent. The obverse side, or head side, featured a right-facing bust of Lincoln, a symbol of unity, leadership, and resilience during one of America's most divided eras. Fast forward to 1959, on Lincoln's 150th birthday, the reverse design changed from 2 wheat stalks to the Lincoln Memorial, crafted by designer Frank Gasparo. This change was more than cosmetic. It celebrated Lincoln's enduring impact on the nation, literally engraving his legacy into every cent. And this iconic design, the Lincoln bust on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, remained unchanged for 50 solid years, making the 1989 coin a key part of that long, historic run. Now let's get into the details of the 1989 Liberty 1-cent coin. By this time, the coin had long moved away from its original solid copper composition. Due to the rising cost of copper, the United States Mint made a major change in 1982, switching to a core of 97.5% zinc, coated with a thin 2.5% copper plating. The result? A coin that looked the same but weighed less, about 2.5 grams, and had slightly different sound and wear patterns. The diameter remained 19.05 millimeters, and the edge of the coin was plain, without ridges. The obverse features the familiar portrait of President Lincoln, with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust" along the top, Liberty to the left, and the year 1989 to the right. If your coin has a small d under the year, it was minted in Denver. If there's no mint mark, it was minted in Philadelphia. In 1989, the mint struck about 7.26 billion coins in Philadelphia and over 5.34 billion coins in Denver. That's a staggering 12.6 billion Lincoln cents, making the 1989 penny one of the most common coins in American pockets at the time. Let's talk face value. In everyday terms, a 1989 penny is, well, worth 1 cent. And with billions made, you'll still find them in your spare change, at flea markets, and maybe even stuck between your couch cushions. Despite being over 30 years old, the 1989 penny remains a common coin in circulation. Its value hasn't changed on paper. It's still worth just 1 cent at the register. However, the metal composition value, or melt value, has fluctuated with copper and zinc market prices. At times, the melt value has come close to 1 cent, and while it might seem tempting to melt these coins for the metal, it's illegal to do so under U.S. law. So in real terms, you won't profit from the metal itself. But collectors, that's where things get interesting. While most 1989 pennies are worth just 1 cent, certain coins are much more valuable. If you know what to look for, a regular uncirculated 1989 penny, meaning it's never been used and is in mint condition, can be worth between 10 cents to $1. That's not bad for something you might find at the bottom of a drawer. But here's where it gets exciting. A 1989 penny in mint state condition, with a grade of MS65 or higher, and particularly with a full red luster, can sell for $2 to $10. And now, the headline. The current collector value for top-tier specimens can go even higher. Some perfectly preserved, brilliant red 1989 pennies graded MS67 have been sold for around $5.60, or more, depending on demand and condition. Now, let's talk era coins. A 1989 Lincoln cent with a visible mint error, such as off-center strike, double die, obverse die cracks, or cuts struck on the wrong planchet, can command impressive premiums. One dramatic off-center 1989 penny sold at auction for over $75, and a rare double-die version fetched nearly $120. It all depends on rarity, demand, and the eye of the collector. Wondering if your 1989 penny is worth more than a cent? Here's what to check: color and shine. The redder and shinier the coin, the higher its grade and potential value. Mint mark. Look for unusual marks or doubling near the D mint mark. Errors. Examine letters and numbers. Is anything misaligned, doubled, or cracked? Condition. No scratches, no wear, and no discoloration means higher value. A professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC can authenticate and grade your coin, a smart move if you suspect you've got something special. So, what's the current market value of the 1989 Liberty 1-cent coin? Here's a snapshot from the world of collectors. Circulated coin, 1 cent clean uncirculated, 10 to 50 cents certified MS65 or better, $2 to $5 certified MS67 red, currently valued around $5.60 era coins, $20 to $150 plus. Depending on type and visibility. Even in 2025, this coin continues to be a collector's favorite, and that $5.60 price tag proves that a seemingly ordinary coin can pack surprising value. Who knew a tiny 1989 penny could hold so much history, artistry, and hidden value? Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone curious about the coins in your pocket, the Liberty 1 cent from 1989 is more than just spare change. It's a connection to the past and a potential piece of treasure. So check your change, inspect your piggy banks, and take a second look at those old coins. You never know, you might be holding a $5.60 gem. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss another deep dive into the fascinating world of coin collecting. And remember, every coin has a story. What's in your pocket? Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep collecting.